Hi, my name is David Al with Kuksulwon Tule, Traditional Martial Art. Welcome to our series on tournament information and preparation for the World Kuksul Association Tournament. In this video, I'm going to be discussing weapons, what weapons you are permitted to use, and more importantly, what weapons are not permitted to use. First, everyone, we practice a traditional Korean martial art. All of our weapons should reflect the fact that we practice a Korean art. Now, for my brown belts and damwonims, one of your events this year is staff spinning. Now, your staff must be made of what is called rattan. Now, there are a couple of different variations of the rattan staff that is permitted. The most important thing is that your staff is not modified in any way. There's no excessive amounts of tape, reflective material, LED lights, things like that. Those are not permitted on any of the weapons that we use. The main thing is we don't want to give an unfair advantage to someone because it appears that they are spinning faster or better than they actually are. Now, there are three main types of rattan staves that are permitted, and we're going to go over some examples. Now, one of the most common rattan staves is known as the burned rattan staff. Now, on these staves, you can notice that there's these burn marks that are all the way the length of the weapon. These come from the factory just like this, and these are perfectly fine in the competition. Another very common type of rattan staff is known as a skinned staff, where it appears that it looks like similar to bamboo. Again, these are perfectly fine. And the final version is what are known as smooth rattan staves, where those bamboo type marks have been sanded out of the staff itself. These are perfectly fine. Now, you are also permitted to have your name, like your initials on the end. If you have a small piece of tape that just has your name or school indicated on it, that's perfectly fine. But once we start getting past a name tag, that's where it creates problems. So very frequently, students like to add some decorations, add some tape of various colors. It adds a little bit of flair, a little bit of personality. For personal training, for demonstration, this is completely fine. However, in competition, this staff would not be permitted to be used. Here's another example of a staff that has been fully taped over. This is a rattan staff, and it's been taped the entire length. Now, this particular staff is Master Harmon's, and he taped the staff to help with the delamination. This staff is probably at least as old as I am, so it's 40 plus years old, maybe even older. And the final staff is this is also rattan staff, but it's been wrapped in that aluminum type of tape. This is not permitted at all. Now, I mean, the kids at the school love this one. They call it the lightsaber. Looks awesome for staff sparring demos, things like that. But again, competition, this is simply not allowed. So please use the standard rattan staffs. Don't add any excessive decorations. Don't add any decorations at all. Again, the only thing you're permitted to have is your name. Now, the next staff that I want to talk about is the short staff. Now, short staffs for our first degrees, second degrees, second and third degrees, same guidelines. Rattan, hardwood, no decorations. The association has issued standardized short staffs. Those are perfectly fine to use, of course, but as long as they're not decorated anyway. The next staff that we're going to talk about is spear. Now, spear is going to be reserved for the fourth degree black belts. Now, on the spear itself, the tassels below the spearhead, these are perfectly fine. Red is the standard color, so please keep it to that. There should be no decorations added to the length of the staff itself. Generally, staves are made out of a material called waxwood. They come single color, so again, don't add any additional reflective material to any of your staves. Okay, next let's talk about swords. Now, for the black belts, you have a sword division. Now, all swords that are used at the World Tournament, World Kuksul Association sanctioned tournaments must be association swords. Now, the association has made many swords over the years. However, the sword that they've made in the last 10 years or so is considered the standard. Now, this is an example of the standard association sword. Now, again, everyone, we practice a Korean art. We should be using Korean style weapons. Now, Korean style weapons are not very easy to get. That's why Grandmaster and the association goes to great lengths to have swords made in Korea and brought to the US in the correct cultural way that Korean swords were represented traditionally. So be sure that you're using association sword. A couple key things to look for to make sure that you are using an association sword is, of course, the logo and the logo that is embossed in the handguard itself. Now, they did make variations with curves. Those are perfectly fine as long as it is an association sword. Now, for our third degrees, short swords. The association has issued standardized short swords. Please make sure that you're using these particular weapons in the competition. The main thing is you want to be familiar with the weapon that you're using. That way you have the best opportunity to perform well. And we don't want to get all the way to the competition just to find out that the weapon we brought is not allowed. So two things to verify. One, was it purchased through the World Kuksul Association? If so, almost 100%, it will be permitted in competition. Second, talk to your instructor. Have them verify that these weapons are allowed. Now, for those who are local to the tournament, bringing weapons is pretty easy. For those that travel outside the state, even outside the country, it becomes a lot more difficult. So very often, students will make arrangements to borrow a weapon from someone who will be at the competition. So students within your own school, if you don't have your own personal weapon, talk with one of your classmates. Arrange to have a weapon there to use. If you're traveling from out of the state or out of the country, call some of the larger schools that are generally going to be at the competition. Feel free to call me here at Clear Lake. I will do my best to help make sure that you have a weapon that is appropriate to use. In the tournament, the tournament director, the association, does not provide weapons. So you need to make sure that you have prior arrangements before the day of competition. Thank you guys very much for watching. Hit the like button, hit subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, put them down below and I will be happy to get back to you as soon as I can. Have a great day.